Hello, this is Max Drake. I want to talk about two productivity tools that are free. One of them is ZoomIt, and this is what it does. Control 1, and it just zooms in by a certain amount. Depending on where you move your mouse around, it'll move to there. If you type escape, you get out of it. If I go and do that again, Control 1, and I have my mouse on that side, that's where it'll zoom to. So it's very good. And if I got my mouse down here on that bit there, so I'm down the bottom here, Control 1, it'll zoom into there. Now, how much it zooms in by? Inside the tray, it opens up. If we just look at the options there, it's got a limit. I've got mine set to 1.75, what it is. If I go and clog it up to there, then if I go Control 1, it seriously zooms in. So it's your choice as to how much you want. If I just go back into that one there again, sorry, Control 1, and if I can still scroll, so if it's not quite the level that you want, you can actually scroll out and scroll in a bit. The 4's too much for me, so I'll actually just go into there and in the options, and again you can choose what fast keys you use to actually fire these ones up. I quite like that, the ones that they actually have. So that I'm going to drop down to about 1.75. That sort of suits me. Now here's another thing that you can do. Control Shift 1, that's my curve. Control 1 zooms me into a certain point. Once I'm in there, if I click my left-hand mouse button, you'll see there's that little red dot. I can change that. That's red at the moment. I'm going to go B for blue, and I'm going to go use the control and wind my wheel up, and I can change the thickness or the depth of that circle. So if I go Control here and just use the mouse, I can draw a square. If I use Shift, and I can draw a line. If I just leave it on its own, it draws squiggles. If I just want that last thing undone, Control Z, so it's like an automatically step back. If I go Control Z again and Control Z again. If I just go into here, I can actually just go E, and it just erases everything straight away. I can also just have a white background just by typing W, or a black background just by typing K. K's doesn't quite sound logical, but it's W for white and K for the black or white. We're going to scribble on the white. Now, if you want text, you type T, and then you can type some text. And then I'm just going to go Control, and I've got to click my left-hand button to get out of that text. And then if I go Control, I can draw a box around it, or Control, if I go Shift, I can draw a line, and if I go Control and Shift, I can draw an arrow. Now it draws from the arrowhead back, which is a bit weird. Now I don't like blue. I'm going to go to orange, and I'm going to go Control Shift and do that. Now maybe you're in a meeting or you're just doing a presentation. Somebody said, "Oh, can you give a screen grab for that?" So you go Control C, copy, Control S for save, and then you can give it a number. And it will save that for you as those images. These are other ones that I've done. It saves it as a PNG file, but you can actually just save those and actually hand them around or attach them to an email later on if somebody wants that. So again, if I just type E, it escapes out of that. I'm still inside the zoom command, and inside the zoom command, I'm in the draw command that I've activated the draw command by just touching the left mouse button. Now, if I type escape, I escape right out of the whole thing, and I've just gone back to my normal zoom level again. Now, if I want to draw but I don't want to zoom in, I just use Control 2. Now, here's yellow, I mean orange, so I'm going to go to yellow now, and I think that yellow is a bit too big, so I'm going to put Control and do the middle wheel and make my dot a bit smaller, and then I'm going to use Control and say, this is what I had to highlight to you. And maybe I want to scribble in here. But what I find is it's very easy to actually just mark up something on the screen or highlight. And where I see this as being quite attractive, I'm just going to break out of it, is if you've got a bit of code and you're talking across somebody and saying, look, we're having an issue here, or part of these things aren't quite doing, you can go Control 2, Control, and you can just draw a square around that one there, and then you can actually say Control Shift. This is where we're actually getting the problem. You then just do Control C, Control S, save that image there, and then pass that on for later, or you can just cut and paste the thing. But it's sort of handy for if you're just talking things over, you can do it like hand waving in a way. And it's quite natural in the way that it does those hand waving things, is that they're kind of quite natural commands, like R for red, P for pink, G for green, Y for yellow, B for blue. Easy to remember. The W for whiteboard. And you see this is the problem. I'm not actually in there. Control 2. W for whiteboard, T for text. That's another perfectly natural one. I've just got to click to go over there or escape out of that one. And, I find a lot of those keys very good. So if you're actually having a Zoom meeting and you want to describe something, or else you're doing a video and want to do something and you want to zoom in and highlight, then you can use a Control 1 to leap into the point that you want. Then you can actually just go through and say, this is the bit that I want to tell you about. And you type E and it all disappears again. So it's not too distracting. You can highlight things quite easily and you can clear the screen. And if you want to save some of those bits of information, that's also easy to do as well. So I hope you find that tool useful. I think it's quite a brilliant one myself. The second one that I've been doing, the last video I was talking about, I'd actually talking about super notes. It's not quite satisfied with what it does. I went and looked at another one called Simple Notes. I'm using Super Notes. I use Google Keep, that I find brilliant. It works across all my devices, and it's just really good for the personal stuff. But I don't want to keep my personal stuff and my coding and other information that I want. So I've gone on to the opposition here, which is the Microsoft To Do. And the reason why I'm sort of going on and moving across to that one is it's got a few little features that are an above and above. So you can actually put some dates against things so that you can end up with a bit of a calendar as far as when to do things are actually got to do. A couple of things that I don't like. One, it doesn't have a dark mode. And the second one is if you type a note into here and then you want to put some extra information on this one here, something's weird. It's stuck on that one, I think. I haven't added that one there. So when I've got it here and I want to add a note, I've got to go right over to this side over here. So I can actually just highlight that with, I'm in yellow there, aren't I? So if I go Control 2 and I go green, then I've got my dot there. So I have to come right over to this other side here, and I'm just going to escape back out of there, and I'm going to go onto here. You've got to come over here to fill in more information. There is, you can give it categories. You can do a few other things and add extra stuff to it. But it's not all in there. So you've got to write here and then do something here. One thing which I do find quite cute is it does link up to other things within the Microsoft Office environment and things like that. And I presume if you don't have Excel, this just takes you to the cloud version or the browser version and stuff. And it will take you to your OneDrive if you're actually logged in and stuff like that. I seem to be logged in on this one. So it has a little bit more functionality than the other one. Whether it'll work for me or not, I'm not too sure. But again, it's free. You can schedule things. I'm still trying to get my head around some of these things. So if I come back to the tasks, you can sort by importance, due day, alphabetically, creation date or something like that. And also, like when you've got to delete them, you've got to sneak all the way down here. Got a lot of features. It's got some lists that it talks about down here, or untitled groups and things that I'm still trying to figure out what those are. So I might actually have to do a little bit of video watching to find out. But I've moved my stuff across from Super Notes because it doesn't, it sort of does and it doesn't. The other one little criticism that I've actually got with this at the moment is it takes a little while to load into the browser. It just seems to be a bit slower than something like Super Notes. So I've still got that one there. I've just copied a lot of those things across into here to see how I can use that one and to see if it's actually worth it. And we'll see how that one goes. So again, Super Notes is free there's a free tier version of it. Simple Notes is free and you can use it anywhere, and To Do is free as well. And if you actually got other things in the Microsoft account, it maybe links in with those, which might be quite handy. So I hope that's been of interest to you. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this handy, can you please give a thumbs up? Thank you.